stamping friends, it's Sharon Armstrong. I have been teaching paper crafting for over 20 years now. And every time a new catalog comes out, I get all excited about all the accessories. Whenever I get a new catalog, I start in the back and go forward. I've done that since the beginning. But the Stampin' Up! Catalog launched on June 1st, and I received my embossing mat. So I've been playing with that and trying to figure out the best ways to use it. So I want to share that with you guys today. Okay. So first of all, we have our big shot sitting here. I am going to slide that over. I wanted to point out in the catalog where this little fun tool is. It's on page 221, and it's this little thing. It's called a Big Shot Embossing Mats. It sells for $15. Like I said, when I got it in, I was like, what do I do? What do I do? So first of all, I want to share with you that, so this is how it comes. Let me move this over just a little bit. There are three components. One is a blue thin silicone mat. One is a gray, thicker. It's really squishy. And then one is called an impressions pad, and it's white. So at first, I went ahead and numbered according to the instructions. Now, Stampin' Up! Is a global company, and so we have it in different languages. So I'll admit, my old eyes could not read this font very well, and I was kind of struggling with the sandwiching. So here's what I did. I took a picture and I blew it up. That made it so much easier for me to read and understand. And then I took that picture and I covered up all the other languages that were on the instructions, and I created my own list of instructions. I will have this document on my blog post later today. So I'll have the link in the video below so that you can go get one. And this just made it so much easier for me. So I hope it will help you as well. So first of all, I want to share with you some of the things that I did. So you can see the deep embossing there. And then I'm sure you can't see it. Oh, there you go, faintly. I'm going to show you the difference. I did it first with the blue one, the blue silicone mat, and then I did it with the gray one. Okay, so that was a fun little twist. Here's another one that I did. I did it with the blue one and, no, the gray one and the blue one. So you can kind of see that, okay? And here is where I didn't use the embossing mats at all. I simply used my Big Shot and my embossing folders, or my embossing sandwich, your standard embossing, and you can't really see it very well. Oh, there you go, maybe a little bit. So I figured out that there is a need for this. Now, one of the things that we have, in the seasonal framelits, we have a leaf that you could use for embossing, and then we have the outline leaf. Well, I figured out that I had to either cut first or emboss first. I couldn't do both because they won't fit, which is what I was hoping would happen, but that didn't work. So when you look at the instructions, there are instructions for cutting and embossing. But I personally don't have any framelits that I could do that with at this time. So just know that that is an option if you happen to have something. But the best thing that I have figured out is some of the framelits, this came in the Serene Garden, some of the framelits do not cut. This is all very smooth, there's no jagged edges, so they don't cut. They're just for embossing. So this little tool, this little embossing mat was perfect. All right, I'm going to show you the sandwiching. I'm really not showing you any finished cards today. My focus was on helping you get familiar with this little tool and make it easier for you. So let's get started. So I'm going to bring in the Big Shot. Now, I have the Big Shot platform, the thin die adapter, and I am just going to show you the standard cutting, okay? And that's this first one right here. So I'll get my cutting mats. I think they call them standard cutting pads, okay? Let's put the ugly one down first. So when you're doing your regular embossing, sorry, your regular cutting, you would get, let me get a piece of paper here. Nope, not that one. You would place the paper in, you would put your framelit down, put that over, and then you would simply put on the top cutting pad and crank it through. If it is ever too tight, don't force it. Everyone's Big Shot is different. The torque of the roller underneath is different on every machine. Sometimes you have to use a shim, sometimes you don't. It just depends on your machine. Okay. So I just have my cutout leaf, okay, that I cut with that. Now I want to emboss this. So here comes the embossing mats. I have my Big Shot platform. I am removing the thin die adapter, setting that aside. And then, according to the instructions, you will place a clear cutting pad. Get my die. I'm going to line this leaf up with the other one. And my biggest fear, and I'm going to tell you, my biggest fear was cutting these silicone mats. You're not going to cut it. I promise you. I went for it and it didn't cut, so I was happy. So next I'm going to line this up a little bit better. So next I will take, so see how that's not quite staying where I want it? I was gonna say, I'm gonna take one of these and see if that'll help keep it down. I did notice that the gray mat, the one that's really squishy, can sometimes move your piece, so you want to secure it so that you don't have that problem. I'm going to use the blue one. I'm going to place that down, and then I'm going to take the impressions mat and I'm going to crank it through. Super easy. It's not hard to get that to go through the Big Shot. Slide this over. Remove my tape, my little Post-it note. Ooh. And now you can see how it didn't cut it out, it embossed it. Isn't that cool? You can do this with all of your framelits. Yay! What a great way to double use those framelits. I'm telling you, this is a whole new world for us. All right, so now I want to show you how I did this one. Get and I want to show you this way, okay? The really deep embossed. Okay, we're starting off with the Big Shot platform again, a clear plate, and then we're going to put our paper down. I'll slide that in a little bit. Whoops. And since I want this corner over here, I'm going to do that. And I will add the foam and the impressions pad. And it's a little bit tighter because the gray mat is thicker, so it's a little bit of a crank, and I'm going to stop right there. See how it's squishing out? It's going to do that because it's so thick. Now, see how it didn't work as well? I'm going to teach you a trick that I learned from my friend Rachel. I watched her video on this, and what she said made so much sense. When we do all of the sandwiching, and this is on top, you can't see what's underneath. So Rachel had this, then this, so the impressions pad, and then she took, get my paper, she put the gray down, so you see where we're going, right? We're doing it in reverse. Then she took the paper, now I can see everything. I love it. I was super excited when I saw that. So here we go again. A little bit tight. And see, it's still going to squish out, so watch it. It's just squeezing that little gray mat. You're like, oh goodness. You ready? Oh my gosh, look how gorgeous. I figured out by doing it Rachel's way that I didn't have the problem of it moving. I didn't have the problem of it not giving me that deep embossed. Let's see. So that was the first one I did. You can't see it. There's the second one. Isn't that gorgeous? Now that framelit, like I said, is not a cutting framelit. But let's do this part again. We're going to leave everything in just like we have it. We have our white impressions pad down first, our gray, and we're going to get another piece of paper. So in the instructions that I'm going to have on my blog, you're supposed to have, whichever way you do it, let me try not to confuse you. You want the framelit to be facing the silicone mat. So whether you do it my reverse way and Rachel's reverse way, or you do it according to the instructions, you're going to be thinking, I'm going to cut that mat. Okay, but that's how it needs to be. All right. So this is what I mean. I've got the cardstock and I've got this. If I was just using the standard cutting, I would cut through the cardstock, but I'm embossing. So we're going to have this squishy mat under there to help us. Okay. So let's get another pad. Again, we can see it. When you're doing this, I just want you to play. I don't want you to be afraid of it like I was at first with cutting that silicone mat. I want you to just play, and your machine may be totally different, but play around with it. So this is really squishing this. Oh goodness. Now, I know that my machine will take that, but if you're cranking and you're like, oh, then just back it out and try again. Just play with it. All right, let's see what we have. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? So I was worried that it was going to cut through, but it didn't. All right. I sure hope that this quick video helps you as you're playing with your new embossing mat system from Stampin' Up. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend it with me.